Hello and welcome to a new episode of Convert on Shopify. My name is Pancho Mendiola, and today I had another awesome conversation with Devansh. We had him in the last episode. We discussed a little bit about how it's really important for us to rehumanize. I don't know if that's a made up word. Yeah, and if it is, well, we just made it up. So rehumanize marketing. We have been focusing so long in just KPIs and metrics and analytics, just basically numbers. We tend to forget that in the other side of the screen, or in the other side of your speaker, of our speakers, there's humans that actually have feelings and dreams and thoughts. Obviously, that is something that we have to keep in mind. So that's what we discussed in the last one. In this one, we bring it to practice. So this one, we're going to discuss a little bit more about how we can use this information to create differentiation tactics or strategies for our brand. We also know that today, there's a lot more competition with the technology being available to pretty much anyone that has some like internet connection and some computer. They can create website, they can sell stuff on marketplaces. So it has never been easier, but also it has never been more competition in the e-commerce space. So it's really important as brands that we know how to differentiate ourselves from this, that starts like a blue ocean and quickly turns into a red ocean. So let's get into the episode and see amazing tips Devansh has for us.
Hey, Devansh, thanks for being back. I really appreciate it. And so in the last episode, we spoke about the importance of focusing our efforts, our marketing efforts, into doing research. We tend to forget that in the other side of the screen, there's actual humans, reading the stuff we put out, consuming the products we're selling, and we forget about that, and we just like guess stuff, and we try to trick or impose sometimes our own ideas when we have all the information we need in them. So we spoke about the importance of doing our research to tweak and optimize our marketing campaigns, right? So in this one, once we understand and know that information, now that we know who we're talking to, how we can differentiate ourselves from other brands. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yep, for sure. So before I go into the differentiation approaches and strategies and all that stuff, I want to say this. 40 years ago, we didn't have a lot of options to buy from. If I want to get some chocolate, if I want to get some cream, whatever it is, we usually had 4 to 5 major brands, and people bought from them. Cool stuff. Then the internet came in, and especially the digital marketing gold rush came in. So it was never more easier to advertise. You can have a $10,000 budget and you can just blow that money on ads. You can, and also, once a few, startups, DTC brands or SaaS companies, whatever you want to call it, they started making some good money on these digital advertising platforms. Other people saw that and they were like, they're making so much good money. Facebook offers all these types of targeting. Let's jump into it as well. We don't even have, $1 million, setup and, operating costs when starting a business in the digital era, at least. So, they started their own, DTC brand and whatnot, but the thing was the barrier to entry now, it's reduced. A lot of people can enter into the market. So, like I said, any 16-year-old kid can start a e-commerce brand, and even some 80-year-old grandpa can do that. And also, since companies started to make good money on these digital platforms, what happened was VCs jumped in because they also saw the money. Now we have brands which are VC backed as well. They have a lot of spending power. So what happens is, let's just say in any saturated niche, Everybody is running their ads or doing cold outreach, and they're trying to sell something to, their target audience, whatever it is. Now the problem is differentiation comes in. Most of these companies think they need to use some sleazy salesy tactic, speak some magic words, and people are gonna be, hooked on, and they're gonna get that service. That's not the case. If you're being targeted by, let's just take your own example. If you're being targeted by 100 brands, hey Pencho, get our, let's just say sleep supplement, and you have trouble sleeping. You have 100 options. Everybody's speaking the same and everybody's looking the same. You're kind of like, man, which one should I be choosing? So that's where the whole aspect of differentiation is really, really important. If you are, if you're a customer, if they only get targeted by 1 to 2 companies or 3 companies, yeah, it's somewhat easier for you to differentiate, you know. But now when they're bombarded with 10, 15 ads, I mean 10 ads from 10 different brands, then things are a little bit messy. And another problem is a lot of these new brands, they don't focus on proper business fundamentals, which is differentiation. A lot of them, what they do is copy their competitors, and they say everybody sounds the same. I've seen a lot of bad advice on LinkedIn. All these, some, not all, but some advertising agencies say the best marketing strategy is to go to your competitors, ads, see them, copy them, and make an improved version of it. Usually, it's not an improved version because most of these ad agencies, they're not really creative people. They just want to copy stuff. So they copy that ad and they run that ad. And now imagine 10, 15 brands doing the same stuff. We have a whole big issue here. And again, nobody's thinking from the perspective of the customer life. They're being targeted by so many brands. Nobody thinks, hey, this my customer base, they're targeted with so many brands. Why should they choose me? Nobody thinks of that. And if they think of it, they think of really superficial reasons, which maybe aren't even true, on differentiation. So if a supplement brand says, we're non-GMO, we're gluten-free, we are made in a USDA certified or FDA certified facility and all of that. Well, surprise, surprise, all of your competitors are also saying that stuff. And you're basically comparing yourself to some hypothetical supplement or some old supplement that used to have toxic chemicals inside of it. Or let's just say the ad agency space. A lot of ad agencies speak the same stuff, they sound the same. There's not a lot of differentiation. I've spoken to a lot of these people. They do cold outreach. Everybody sounds the same. Hey, I'm going to get you these results. I'm going to get you these results. Blah, 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 blah. E-commerce founders are like, man, I'm bombarded with these ad agencies. I don't know which one to trust and which one to go with. So usually they don't really care about the agencies trying to sell them on cold emails. So now you kind of get the point that it's easy to set up companies. These companies are trying to sell stuff to some audience. That audience is usually being sold stuff on by a lot of other brands. And these audiences have to make a buying decision. The one which stands out to them the most, they're going to go with that. So now let's focus on differentiation strategies. And this is, again, more like a broad generalization and based on my observations and stuff that I've learned. So what I'm going to be saying is, just a generalization. And if you apply any of these strategies, you've got to ensure your audience care about the differentiation you're talking about. So the first category is product-based differentiation. The second one is a liking-based differentiation, and the third category is, you can say, other category. I don't know how to classify some other differentiation types, so I just put them in the other category. So let's just talk about product-based differentiation. The first one is your product, has exceptional results. Maybe you get faster results than any other product in the market. Hypothetically, let's say you own a supplement that fixes insomnia in a single day, okay? Whereas your competitors take 30 days. So if a customer sees, they have, and let's just say they're considering making a buying decision between 5 to 6 brands. They see your brand, delivers results in 1 day, whereas the others take 30 days. You're already differentiated. You don't need a lot of convincing. Maybe you need to give some social proof or maybe some scientific evidence, like how this works and all that, to get more trust. But in most cases, you're differentiated already. You don't need to do a lot of heavy lifting. And if you notice, companies which deliver faster results, which companies which have a product based differentiation, usually they have the most ease cutting through an entire market. They can cut through the noise, cut through the competition. So now let's just take an example of the second. So I think there's 4 to 5 subcategories in the product based differentiation. The first one is faster results. Second one is ease of use. So let's just take the example of Microsoft PowerPoint versus Canva. PowerPoint is a cool tool. Canva is a cool tool. But Canva is so damn easier to use. And that's why everybody, if not everybody, a lot of people use Canva. I use Canva. Lots of professionals, lots of students use Canva. So it's just easy to use. It saves time. You can, just get things done faster. So that's why Canva has grown to $1 billion valuation company. And then there's other stuff like, if your features in the product, let's say you have a SaaS company, um, and let's just say you offer 3 features, whereas your competitor offers 1 feature, and both of you are selling at the same price. Let's just say that for the purpose of simplicity. And if your additional 2 features are something your customers really give a shit about, then you're differentiated. You're the better option. You're the option that makes financial sense. And there's a few more to it. I think I'm gonna have a look at my sheet I've made
Yeah.
for
Yeah, go for it.
differentiation. Yeah. So, and then obviously there's price. Okay. So you can be the cheapest, you can be the most expensive. Depends on your market, depends on, how cheap you can go and be sustainable. So that's one approach as well. So let's just say Gucci or Supreme and all these brands. They're really expensive, and obviously they have some social factor as well. Like everybody's buying Gucci or Supreme just because it's expensive, just because it's Gucci and Supreme, and just because it's cool. So they have some other things that's differentiating them as well. But one of those things is the price. It's just so damn expensive compared to a normal T-shirt. So they've cut through the noise. They've become somewhat of a famous brand now. I'm not somewhat, but really a famous brand. And the same stuff goes with brands which have a cheaper price. Now, if you can be profitable, maybe you've got some good advantage in your production, supply chains, and all that stuff. You can make stuff for cheaper and undercut all of your competition. Maybe that can possibly help you. Again, it's all dependent on if your customers give a shit about that specific thing. If they
Correct.
don't care about the pricing, maybe they always care more about the quality. Then, yeah, your low pricing is not really going to help. And sometimes this thing needs to be done properly as well. So I'm not going to name that company, but there are some companies, let's just say they offer food, food for restaurants. Not food for restaurants, but I can order food from a restaurant just by being at my home. So what this company did to get me as a customer was they said, I'm gonna get a 60% discount, 40% discount on anything that I order from this restaurant. Okay, cool. I loved it. I'm getting a good discount. I'm getting my money's value. I, did a lot of orders. Now maybe inflation is coming in, the economy is going a little bit down. So the restaurant and this company decided to reduce the discount rate. So now maybe the discount is only 20%. Now the reason why I bought products from this, this aggregator, if you want to call it, restaurant aggregator, was because of the cheap price. I can get stuff, for a really sweet price point. Now that price point is not there, I stopped ordering. So the fundamentals were totally wrong for this, this specific business. Your main differentiator was actually the price. At least for me, the price was the differentiator for me. It was not the comfort of eating at my own home. If I get something cheaper at a restaurant, if I can save more money, let's just say I'm the type of audience who wants to save a lot more money, then I'm happy with going to a restaurant and getting it if it's cheaper there compared to the aggregator, that software, the app, whatever it is. So that needs to be done properly as well. Some planning needs to be done. So I think this is all I can say regarding product based differentiation. Now there's other things as well. Now, not it's not always possible to come up with a unique product in the market. It's hard, and that's fine. There's other
Yeah,
ways to
exactly. So
differentiate.
you don't need to. You mentioned a lot about these gurus that are always talking about stuff that doesn't really apply in the real world, and I think one of them is that you need to come up with new stuff. I think innovation can be done not only in the product but also like in the service, or maybe you sell the exact same product but yours is like tailored to a specific need or a specific niche of customer, and you also give them information and how to use it and how to have better results using it and whatever. And that's where the innovation can be done. Not you don't need to come up with new stuff all the time.
Yeah. So yep. So one more thing I'd like to say is, as humans, we're not 100% rational. We have our biases. Just to give an example, let's say you want to recruit a Facebook ads professional from not a Facebook ads professional. Let's just say you want to get an intern and you go to a university. That university has 100 students, and all of them have the same course. All of them have the same grades, and one person in that in that university is a relative of yours. You get along really well and all that stuff. So now, when you're going to hire interns out of those 100 people, almost everybody's the same. Your chances are you're probably going to go with your relative. It's just that you have a liking bias towards him. You like him. That's how a lot of the world works. People buy from brands they like. Obviously, this is a generalization. May not apply to all niches, but people may buy from brands that resonate with their beliefs, or that resonates with some specific purpose the customer cares about, and so on. So liking bias, using your psychological bias is really, really important. And this is, again, something marketers don't really focus on. They mainly focus on, tactics, flows, and all that stuff. But they don't focus on stuff like, at the end of the day, you're dealing with humans. Humans have a thinking process. They have biases. They have their flaws in their thinking process. Now, if you're able to understand those flaws, those logical flaws, then you can use them in your marketing as long as you're being ethical. I don't say exploit some psychological flaw that's unethical. Um, so let's just say the first one is definitely a belief. Let's start off with the liking biases now. Liking based differentiation, a belief thing. Belief is the number one. So let's just say, I'm not going to go into politics, but let's just say you're a right leaning conservative. Okay. You find a coffee brand. Coffee is a really commoditized market. Not a lot of differentiation in terms of coffee taste and all that. So there comes this coffee brand. They're really focused towards the right wing. They align with the beliefs of the right wing people, of the conservatives. So, and they're really outspoken. They're controversial. So they're going to get the attention of the conservatives. And assuming, let's just say for the sake of simplicity, not a lot of coffee brands are doing this. Everybody's just like, oh, buy our coffee. It's good. It's natural.
Yeah.
Then this brand is going to be just polarizing audiences. People on the left side of the political spectrum are going to hate this brand, but people on the right side are going to love it. So now, if someone is planning to buy a coffee, they see five generic brands and one brand that just aligns with their beliefs. They're gonna go with that one. It's as simple as that. Same goes with, any sort of belief. Can be religious, can be any type of thing. Maybe some humanitarian stuff, whatever it is. Beliefs are one way, and the second thing is a purpose. So let's just say your skincare brand, let's just say your customers have eight skincare brands in their consideration, and all the brands have the same product, and your skincare brand says for each for everyone for each sale they get, they're going to donate 1% to skin cancer research, or the donation to skin cancer patients, or funds and whatever it is. So if your audience cares about that, if let's just say 90% of them are really soft-hearted, empathetic people, maybe they're gonna like it. They're gonna be like, hey, I'm buying from this brand, it's helping with a cause, so why not just go with them. Now, there's one thing I'd like to say. One purpose can also be sustainability. Now, here's the thing: if all of your competitors start saying, "Yeah, we're sustainable, we're sustainable, we're sustainable," then, or all of your competitors start saying in the skincare space, we're gonna donate, then that's not a differentiator anymore. It just kind of becomes, you can say, a standard, maybe, if that's one way to call it. So differentiation is something, uh, at times, what once you had as a differentiating factor, it may not be there anymore. So it's
Correct.
not a
So
one-time thing.
in this case, for example, it would be better, like if you want to be more like long term. In this case, it would be better if you kind of like create your own cause, like something that is like deeply attached to your company, and that is gonna be hard for other brands to follow the same route. Like the
Hmm.
1% for the planet. I mean, it's great that they do it, but like you said, it's hard for you to differentiate your message in that
Yeah.
regard.
So here's what I have to say. You usually just don't go with one differentiation approach. You go with multiple. So if you see Supreme, or some, let's just say Supreme, they're expensive, and you also use the liking bias. If some big name celebrity or influencer, we're Supreme, and let's just say hypothetically, I am a fan of that big name celebrity, and so I'm just gonna, if I see, hey, this celebrity has bought Supreme, he wears Supreme, I want to be like him, so I'm gonna get from him. I'm gonna buy. I mean, I'm not gonna get from, but I'm gonna get the T-shirt from Supreme. That's just a liking bias. Maybe that's how humans operate. At least some humans operate with celebrities and influencers. That's why they just work. If you see Kylie Jenner, her brand, she's got a personal brand. Her audience likes her, so they get products from Kylie Cosmetics. As simple as that. I don't know about all the details of the Kylie cosmetic products. Maybe they also have a product based differentiation. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's just say they don't have a product based differentiation. Their only differentiating factor is it's from Kylie Jenner. So that's why people are buying, because Kylie Jenner's audience likes her. As simple as that. And if you want to look at it from a B2B perspective, let's just say you're in the B2B space and you offer us ad services, okay? Now, you're really outspoken on LinkedIn. You connect with your audiences very well. You give some really cool advice. You point out BS in the industry. You're really honest. Then what happens is, probably if some founder reads your stuff, they're going to be like, oh, this dude is cool. I like him. Let's message him and work with him. So I know a friend of mine. He runs an ad agency, and he does a lot of content posting on LinkedIn, and he gets clients from there. And the thing is, like, if he was doing cold emails, he probably would have had a harder time, because there's no liking bias coming in. Maybe he can get creative and create some liking bias, but um, but again, speaking from the perspective of what most cold email marketers do, they just they don't really differentiate. They just tell they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. That's it. So this is how my friend is able to get clients. Some of them are brands doing 8 figures, some seven, some maybe, I don't know, 50, 40 million a year. I don't know. But he's making a bank, all because of a liking based differentiation. And that the subcategory he's using is mainly honesty, personal branding, and you can say trust if that's actually trust just comes inside of honesty. But yeah, that's one thing. And there's more to it. So you have purpose, then you have one thing called understanding. So the understanding differentiation in the liking bias can be used like this. Um, let's just say, I have there's this company called PillowCube. My friend Rishi, he's a really good CRO practitioner. So he did some sales copy for optimization and writing sales copy for PillowCube, based on my memory, based on what I read. PillowCube, they basically showed that the Pillow Cube team, they slept on all different types of pillows. They tested different, maybe pillow lengths, thickness, softness, and all that stuff, and they found the perfect pillow for side sleepers. Now when they mention stuff like that in their copy, some audiences may think, since maybe sleeping is a specific problem, some audiences may think, man, most brands don't understand my problem. Now, when they see stuff like this, that this brand has done a lot of dedication to understand the problem, to come up with a solution, they're probably going to consider PillowCube compared to any other, brand that, sells pillows. It's just, there's some trust built. Like, hey, man, I trust these people. They've done a lot of hard work on it. So that's one way to go with it. And there's another thing. It's called transparency. So let's just say the skincare space. All these brands, claim, hey, we donate. We, let's just say, they donate. They're all natural. Their ingredients are of high quality. That's good. Can you show some proof? So if a skincare brand is really transparent, if they're really speaking the truth, then they can probably do this. They get an employee, some representative of the company, and they make some TikTok style videos or maybe some proper long length YouTube video, which shows, the whole process of getting the ingredients, how it's, procured in a sustainable way, how, everybody's at the factory is given a really good sustainable wage, working conditions are great. So you create some sort of a content which shows, most brands, they just claim to be, all natural and all with all these ingredients, but we actually show you all that stuff. Most brands, they're afraid to show you what goes on the back end. We're transparent. See this video, see that video, and all that. That's one way to build trust. Obviously, if the audience cares about such transparency, then it can work. If they don't, then chances are it's not going to work. That's where, A/B testing is also important. You just got to test it out and see if people care about that or not, and if that brings some improvements to the website conversion rate or not. So, yeah, I think then we have a couple of more. Let's see, hostility. Yeah. So with hostility, it's simple. Let's say a CXL. It's a training platform for marketing
Yeah, yeah, of course.
people.
I love
Yeah.
CXL. Yeah.
So one ad I saw by CXL, I think, it mentioned, maybe my memory is bad, but this is what I remember. CXL mentioned that their marketing courses aren't for everyone. These are the toughest marketing courses. So if a marketer, someone who's really passionate about marketing, they're going to see that. They're probably going to be like, man, I'm a smart marketer. I can do any course. So it's probably going to hit their ego somewhere, or it's going to get their interest and curiosity. So then they're actually going to try out CXL's courses and see what's up with them. That's one way to be. So hostility, they're kind of alienating some audiences. Like, it's some new marketers are going to be like, oh man, that is too tough for me. But whereas the more seasoned or passionate marketers, they're going to be like, let's give this a shot. Let's see what's up with this. So, I mean, that's one way to go with it. And this just not applies to, it applies to lots of other areas. So back in 2019, I was speaking to a coach, and he really used a hostility approach towards me, and it was done so damn perfectly. So, um, he mentioned his fee was around, I think, $500, and he said by the end of the call that, if you're really serious about this, you can deposit $100. It's totally refundable. But this is some sort of a commitment fee, or you can say he's gonna jack up the prices later on. Can be anything. But here's what he said to me. He does not want to work with people who aren't serious. That was not the word he used, but he said something that really just hit my ego during that time. He does not work. He said he does not want to work with people who have no skin in the game, and that honestly just hit my ego. And I was like, okay, man, like, he's some serious stuff. I'll just, even though I'm kind of a skeptical buyer, I at the end of it, maybe a week later, when I got the time, I paid him the remaining amount. So he used a hostility approach towards me. Either that was gonna repel me, or that was just gonna, hit my ego and just, let's do that. Let's try it out. So yeah, it's interesting stuff when you focus on human psychology instead of trickery in marketing. Not trickery, but more like flows and tactics.
Of course, no,
So
and also I think you've mentioned probably I don't know, more than 10 approaches, and we tend in agencies or as brands we tend to focus just on a couple, right? Like pricing or features, and that's it. That's as far as we go. We don't think that there's like for every piece of content that we put out there, or we talk about a feature, the other in the other side, that human is going to have like 40 questions, like follow-up questions about that, about your product, about you, about or about themselves even. Like, am I ready for this? Is it a good fit for me? Is this the best moment? And they're just gonna have a ton of questions. But we blame our own campaigns, and because they're not working well, we are just communicating like these two approaches. And as brands, we need to understand that people and humans, we don't always react to just one approach. Like you said, sometimes, and like the thing is this, that if you reacted like an hostility approach with one service, that doesn't mean that applies to all of the products and all of the brands you consume. Not only it's per person or per human, but it's also per moment or product, like that triggered you because you're passionate about marketing, that triggered you. But let's say that a coffee brand goes at it at you with hostility. Maybe you're gonna be like, what the hell? Like, I don't want your coffee. Like, I don't care. So
yeah.
that might not work with you, but it might work with other people. And I think that the lesson here is that first of all, we need to understand this. Like, I hope people listening wrote it down and made their list. And if not, well, they can find you on LinkedIn and ask for your help, right? But the thing is that we as brands need to understand that there's different approaches for different users and different moments or different like circumstances of that particular user. And we need to take these approaches in our communication strategies and in our marketing campaigns, right? So, I mean, for me, I have ton of homework now to figure out, I mean, what of these approaches I can apply with my projects, and then figure out how, like the correct wording and copywriting and design and everything. So I have a ton of work and a ton of love stuff to think about. So thank you very much. This was a lot of information, but but especially a lot of valuable information if you take your time to understand it and apply it into your own project. So
Yeah.
really, really thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And remember that if you go into Convert.com, we have tons and tons of resources. If you want to get a little bit or a lot deeper into the CRO world, we have blogs. We're constantly uploading blogs, and we have some great content partners that are creating these amazing pieces of information so you can stay updated, so you can learn more, so you can go deeper into these conversations, or you can move a little bit faster than this podcast. So don't forget Convert.com, and thank you very much again. See you in the next one. Bye bye.